Please, we then move on to the next question on the order paper, the Mayor's Margaret Thatcher Lecture for the Centre for Policy Studies in the name of Assembly Member Dismore.
Well, thank you very much, Andrew, and your question unfortunately does not seem to me to reflect what I was saying in that lecture, which was after all that there is a problem of inequality, and for reasons we've been discussing a lot this morning, it has been getting worse in London, and it needs to be tackled, and we are tackling it in all sorts of ways, not least by championing fantastic educational outcomes across the city with the interventions that we're making through the Schools Excellence Fund, through the Gold Club, all that we're doing to support young people through apprenticeships, getting them into work, and of course the London living wage, which has expanded 700% since I've been mayor.
When you said as many as 16% of our species have an IQ below 85, well, about 2% have an IQ above 130. The harder you shake the pack, the easier it will be for some cornflakes to get to the top. Where in the box do you think you are?
Well, I'm perfectly happy to accept that I have, the IQ of a baked bean. But my point is that you've got to help people. As I said in the, and I'd be very surprised if you wanted to take that line of argument. Well, my point is that it's our job in public life to try to help people who need our help, and to liberate and to mobilise those with talent and who are being held back unfairly, and that is something I think that everybody understands, and there are huge numbers of people of great talent and ability throughout our country who are not getting the breaks they deserve.
Well, it's interesting you place yourself there, because obviously when you did the IQ test on the radio, you didn't know how many apples you had, what colour the bear was going to be, or what time the clock was going to go off. But when you said inequality is essential for the spirit of envy and keeping up with the Joneses, it's like greed, a valuable spur to economic activity. When you said that greed was a valid motivator for economic progress, when you praised London's Gordon Geckos, who was, of course, the fictional character jailed for insider trading, don't you think that was precisely the view of the world that led to the banking crash?
Shall I just tell you what I think?
Let me finish.
Just for the benefit of...
Let Andrew finish.
The irresponsible bonus culture, fuelled by reckless gambling, no risk to the bankers but jeopardising depositors and hard-earned savings and pension funds through smoke and mirrors derivatives. Don't you think that's exactly the criteria that you were advocating as being the driver behind...
Shall I just tell you what I said?
That is what you said. There is a direct quote.
I also hope this is what I said, okay? And I think you're rather. I think people. Here we go. I also hope that there is no return to that spirit of loads of money heartlessness, figuratively riffling banknotes under the noses of the homeless. And I hope that this time the Gordon Geckos of London are conspicuous not just for their greed, valid motivator though greed may be for economic progress, as for what they give and do for the rest of the population, many of whom have experienced real falls in their incomes in the last 5 years. And if there is to be a boom in the 2010s, I hope it is one that is marked by a genuine sense of community and acts of prodigious philanthropy, and I wish the snob value and prestige the Americans attach to giving would somehow manifest itself here, or manifest itself more vividly. What I was saying was the complete opposite of the claptrap.
Well, I'm afraid you isn't, because you make it quite clear.
And I think you should apologise to Londoners.
You believe inequality is here to stay.
Let the mayor finish.
You should crawl on your knees to the Centre for Policy Studies, flagellating yourself with a copy of my lecture in atonement.
I've got it here. I gave you the direct quotes. It's true, isn't it? You only care about the 2% you were saying at the top of the box. You care nothing for those at the bottom of the cornflake.
And I think you have demonstrated...
London is the most unequal city in the developed world under your administration.
You have demonstrated today your own contempt and callous disregard for those such as myself of moderate intellect, and your whole attitude, it seems to me, betrays a shame. There you go. Would you attack people? Would you mock people who have low IQs? Would you?
Would you? When you I attack
Come on.
you when you
what
claim
do you
to
stand
be
for?
things you are
Dismore,
not.
what do you stand for? What do you stand for, Dismore? Do you stick up, for those who are challenged, or don't you? What are your values?
Right, we are not here to question Assembly Member Dismore.
Whose side are you on?
Are here to question
Whose side are you on?
Have you any more questions? We will then move on to the next question on the order paper today, which is Hampstead Police contact point in the name of Assembly Member Dismore.
This is the final question.
The others are all for written answer now, so this is the final.
Come on, we've made it only 1:45.
Get on with it.
Come on. The answer is Andrew Dismore. The answer is how much? Well, this I think the answer is that the cost of this is £30, and I'm sure that's readily fundable. And we are if the Old Hampstead Town Hall contact point is the one that is decided upon. Then that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's terrific.
Well,
Will that do? Is that the answer you want?
Well, I'm pleased to hear it, Mr Mayor, because the Ham and High originally were told that the police would not fund this contact point because it had to be a no-cost option. Indeed, you probably saw the photo of the Ham and High giving the first £30 to the police for the first month and agreeing to underwrite it. Obviously, there's been a change of policy after you got doorstepped when you were out campaigning in Hampstead.
No, I can tell you.
The important point here, though, of course, is that you agreed that no police station would close until there was an alternative in place, and there isn't an alternative in place. And what's more, in relation to Hampstead Police Station, it might have been sensible to tell the Royal Mail that you were closing it, because this is the pile of post on the doorstep last week, which has simply been left there because nobody bothered to tell the Royal Mail. And it might also have been a good idea to change the sign on Hampstead Police Station, which still says it's open, as it says Holborn Police Station is open 24 hours, which it isn't, and Albany Police Station as being open, which it isn't. It might have been sensible, if you're serious about engaging the public, to tell the public that you have closed these police stations, not kept them open, as it says on the police station. The fact is, this contact point system is a complete fiasco as far as Hampstead is concerned.
Well,
what they want is a proper police base for their police officers to patrol out of, and a proper contact point in a place that is not Starbucks or the Royal Free, a place where people want to go, and where you, until you were doorstepped, would not pay the £30
I'm afraid you're talking not for the first time in your presence here. Complete nonsense. At no stage was the Met told they couldn't spend £30 a week on a contact point. That is absolute nonsense. If the town hall is to become the contact point, that, as far as I'm concerned, is absolutely terrific. I hope that is something that will provide reassurance to you and the readers of the Ham and High.
Well, I'm very pleased to hear that, but I'm afraid it wasn't nonsense, because the borough commander told me that he was not allowed to spend £30 because he'd been told by DAC Helen Ball, in charge of the initial rollout, that it had to be in police premises and it had to be a no-cost option. It was only after you got doorstepped in Hampstead during your electioneering that, in the end, some directive must have been issued to change the rule, and the borough commander was allowed, after all, to find £30 out of his coffers. The fact remains these are not properly funded, are they?
Right, quick answer to that, because Labour Group are now running out of time.
It sounds to me like good value. It's a classic good value by this administration that we're able to fund a contact point for a mere £30. I hope that is good news to you and everybody reading the Ham and High. It shows what a beady eye we keep on costs in London, and I think it will be, as I say, you've got crime coming down across the city. The proof of the pudding is in the eating, and that applies to Hampstead as well.
Thank you very much. Assembly Member Boff.
Mr Mayor, I'd like you to congratulate Andrew Dismore actually for climbing onto the bandwagon so late, but at least he's here, that we're supporting this campaign that was started a long time ago by Councillor Simon Marcus in Hampstead, who has done more than any other person to ensure that there is a police base in the Old Hampstead Town Hall.
Well, I do congratulate Simon Marcus. I know well for the many good things he has done, and it is typical Dismore to pretend that he's had some hand in some benign benign transformation that has been effected by hard-working Conservative councillors. And I know that the people of Hampstead will take that into account when they come to adjudicate.
Thank you. We'll conclude this exchange with a point of personal exclamation from Assembly Member Dismore.
Thank you very much. I think, as the records of this Assembly will show, I've raised the question of Hampstead Police Station on a number of occasions with questions with the Mayor, both in written and orally, and also from the very first so-called consultation meeting, which was held in Camden. I raised the issue of the contact points then.
Well, by your own admission,
unlike
you've been
Simon Marks.
unsuccessful in drawing it to attention of the people of Hampstead.
Thank you very much.